Champions are champions because they master the art of getting back up. Now, no matter what you do or how much you prepare, at some point in your life, you are going to get knocked down. But see, for the legends, champions, warriors, and for the overcomers, no obstacle, no trial, no tribulation, no situation is strong enough to keep them there. Put that loss and defeat behind you. Awaken the giant within you. How you respond right now will define you. Tap into that greatness on the inside of you. They doubt you, so the world will try you. But don't you let anything deny you. Show the world you still have fight in you. Let them all see that champion inside of you. Let them all see that champion inside of you. Each challenge you face is a great big mirror that allows you to see inside yourself. The way you respond to struggle will reveal to the world who you really are. Being a champion isn't just about the doing part. It's about the being part. You gotta become that person.
Top of the day, beautiful people. Hold on. Is that just me again? That's my lens blurry. Hold on. Hold on. That's better. I think it's both. Hold on, y'all. Ah, there you go. Happy Thursday, beautiful people. Hold on. All right, y'all. We're going to have a slight disruption this morning here in about 30 minutes. My sister coming over to pick up my nieces. Since my tiny cousin Aubrey is leaving today to move back to Georgia, they had their last sleepover tonight in the middle of the school week. Yep, she in school. My kids homeschool, but she in public school. But Lord, they all gonna probably be sleeping class today because they probably went to bed like 20 minutes ago. And I let them stay up. That was a bit of exaggeration. They didn't really go to sleep like 20 minutes ago, but they did go to sleep almost 1 o'clock this morning. I had to make them go. So I was like, if y'all don't lay down and go to sleep. So, all right, beautiful people. Happy Thursday. It is September the 21st, 2023, day 107 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. Another 5-year consecutive day count. It is day 1,486. I would love to continue to say that those days are consecutive days, but here in year 5, we've been taking a lot of breaks, right? But since we started, we have been doing this almost consecutively, with the exception of the Sabbath days and the hiatuses, days, the multiple strung together days of rest that I've been taking here in year 5. We've been here. Actually, we started November the 18th. Was it November the 18th? November the 18th, 2018. It was the 18th or the 28th. I got to go back and check my book. But anyway, we started the end of 2018. Today, y'all, we're going to pick up in the book of Frag and Patty, chapter 23. I'm going to go ahead and say this again. We're going to start here in hopes that we'll get over here to the secret Nazarite scroll today and read some more of that chapter. Okay. This chapter 2 has 24 verses, right? Okay, so the book of Frag and Patty, chapter 23 has 24 verses. Let me just scroll it real quick. I don't foresee us being here all day. Yep, we're going to stop at 24 because at verse 24, he's going to proclaim 2 days of recreation. And we're about to have 3 after the day. So we're going to pause there. So once we get done reading that, we're going to hop over here to chapter 43. Yep, let's move this all the way over. Chapter 43 on page 578 in the secret Nazarite scroll. All right, so Father, we thank you that how about I let y'all give us a starting one? Y'all have never given us a starting phrase of adoration for the Creator. Memories back when right, Tiffany? Look. Right, she said memories back when the Sefer was our golden rule. Listen, as we grow and we get more information, we add it in, right? Oh, we've come, I ain't gonna say we've come so far, but we've come so far from where we first began, right? Oh my gosh, y'all watch my videos from 2018 and my religious mindset. Sometimes I go back to watch some of my videos, I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, I should just erase this crap, but I leave it there for growth, for growth studying purposes, right? Not just for me, but anybody to come here and think I'm a complete nut and go back through some of my old videos to verify that I may be just that. I leave them there so they can see how far I've come from that day up until this day. Hey, the whole reason why we're here is perpetual growth, right? The Creator has created us to grow continually. All right, let's see who are here. Tabitha, hey girl, hey, what's going on, fam? Jamia, hey, sisterin. Peace. Jamia, every time I see your name now, because you always be like, peace, Sister Pam. I don't know why I always. Y'all seen that picture of Jesus and the Pope, where they always got the 2 fingers? I don't know why I always see that. When you say that, so I'd be like, peace, sisterin. All right, Jamia, grand rising. Oh, that wasn't me. Oh yeah, could y'all couldn't hear me? Yeah, because I was testing this. I noticed yesterday when I put on my Be Right Back screen, when I watched the video, just kind of going through it, I noticed that when I put it on, you could still hear like the background. Like, you know what, let's test it real quick before I say hi to everybody else. Hold on. Okay, y'all tell me, can y'all still hear me? Can y'all still hear me behind this Be Right Back screen? Yes? No? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me now? Somebody just say yes or no. Y'all can hear me. Yes? No? No? I was waiting for a comment. Let me just come back live. Hold on. Oh, you can hear me. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me take this off. Okay. Y'all can hear me. Okay. Duly noted. Just so I don't be saying nothing crazy when I put on the Be Right Back screen. My husband down here and I put y'all on Be Right Back so I don't say nothing that y'all shouldn't hear. Not that we be talking about y'all, but, you know, personal, intimate things. I had to verify that. Okay. All right, where was we at? BC, Brandon Carter, what's going on, fam? What's going on? Okay, y'all was letting me know, no sound. Okay. So the reason why y'all didn't hear sound this morning is because I probably said it real quick. Y'all probably didn't hear me. Maybe I wasn't loud enough. And then I was just quiet while I was looking at some stuff. Okay. So now I know you can hear me. Derek, what's going on, fam? y'all. I'm about to screw your name up, right? Yakub. Karahaya. I took a long time because I really didn't want to mess it up. Karahaya. Elijah Yasharon. What's going on, communicator? I'm just going to call you communicator for short. From Sydney, Australia. Hey. Okay. Tiffany. I already said peace. Hey, cousin. Mom. Okay. Let's see. Elbow call for learning. Wash hands, please and thank you, right? Okay. Oh, yes, yes. Father, we thank you for the desire to continue the search, adjust, and love, right? Those are key words. Adjust, right? Search, adjust. Some people search, find out, and they don't do anything with the information. Like, how can you even continue to live your life the same when you've come across information that could potentially be life-changing if you actually go test what you found out? All right, beautiful people. Fritz, what's going on, fam? Can you just mute it? You know what? I don't know how to mute this, believe it or not. Mute. Oh. There's a mute button. Thank you. I look down there at that box all the time, but thank you. There is a mute button. Okay, so when I put on the Be Right Back screen, I'll remember to mute it. Okay. Get you some Paul's vibes from Bronze. Is he in here? I've been thinking about that too. I need to put something behind it. Bronze, Yogi. Yeah, I'm going to get some. Kings and Queens Coaching Group. Shalom, shalom. I never hear anything. Tone, the lowly one. Shalom, shalom. Drayson Righteous, what's going on, fam? Shalom. All right, and everybody here in the background, top of the day to you. Let's get started. Enough of my shenanigans this morning. All right, so page 200, chapter XXIII. That's chapter 23 if you're following along with the digital version and don't know your Roman numerals. Don't feel bad. I didn't learn how to read my Roman numerals until we started reading the Waspy. Like, seriously. Fragapati had previously visited Hypatia, but told not who he was, save that he was the god of Lunitzi in Ethera. Consequently, Hypatia, now knowing that Fragapati was coming, mistrusted not that it was the same person, but expected to see someone coming in great pomp and glory. Right. So remember, when you get those false gods coming, they're claiming, they don't come letting you know they're false. They come in somebody else's name, trying to fool them. And most of the time they're successful. Like say if Osiris, like what they did with Osiris, right? So today, just going out in a random group of people and you say the name Osiris, the first thing they're going to think about is Egypt, right? Down in that era. But that particular Osiris during that era was actually a false god, taking on the name of a once true god who walked the earth and still is here. The official name is Osiris. They say Osiris, some say Osiris, whatever. But when they come in another person's name, they put on all this lavishness, they throw parades and all of this stuff to try to give you the illusion that they are the real person, and they're really not. Okay. Hypatia, now knowing that Fragapati was coming, mistrusted not that it was the same person, but expected to see someone coming in great pomp and glory. For he had heard of the wonders of Fragapati already accomplished in the For he had heard the wonders Fragapati had already accomplished in the eastern heavens, particularly the breaking up of the hells of Aosu and the deliverance of the tortured inmates. Thus came Fragapati to Ipsoji in his avalanza, displaying neither lights nor curtains, coming with receiving hosts within his vessel, anchoring near the throne of Hypatia. Presently, Fragapati came down out of the ship, Yatanti and Hoab with him, also the marshals who were on the left, the receiving hosts being on the right. Hypatia's Esenars struck up Jehovah's name, O ye lords and gods. And after struck up is reference number 22. And 22 down at the bottom of the top of the page says, struck up, proclaim Jehovah's name. Hypatia's Esenars struck up Jehovah's name, O ye lords and gods, and the hosts of the avalanza joined in singing, and with trumpets and harps and triangles, knowing the symbols of their kingdom, and great was the glory of their music. When Fragapati approached the throne, the music ceased. Hypatia said, who cometh here? And he made the ancient sign of Jehovah's name. Fragapati said, "A faith is in Jehovah," and he gave the countersign. Whereupon Hapacha said, "In his name, welcome, brother, and welcome thy host also. May his love and wisdom be manifested in me and my people during your sojourn with us." Fragapati said, "Jehovah is all wise. He fashioned some men as sons, and out of their souls the light extendeth into the far off spheres. Coursing these vast fields at certain times and seasons, he sendeth swift messengers from his most exalted heavens. And these messengers, passing through both light and darkness with their great wisdom, scan the distant kingdoms where mortals and angels dwell, and quickly catch from the guardian host and from the scenes around the brightest, best stars, and carry the record to the reigning gods above. And when these gods descend to the regions and places of these gems, they go visit them." That's beautiful. And after the regions and places of these gems, after these is reference number 23. And 23 at the top of the bottom says, "Of these immortal gems." Gems, Gems, like jewelry. Okay. "Even so, Hapacha standeth thy record. Even so, O Hapacha, standeth thy record in the higher heavens. And when the Father called me to visit the red star and her heavens," remember, the red star is another name for the earth here, "I looked over." You know what? See, I begin sidetracked with my thoughts. Listen, okay. Let me just say this real quick before I forget. Okay. So remember I mentioned a debate that's going on November. Actually, they're charging for this debate. It's like $30 between the two ladies. I ain't gonna say I forget their name, they right there, but anyway, as I was reading her post, and I finally did make a comment under it or whatever, but I started doing a little bit more research on the earth and the view of the 6,000 years and how that actually started. I learned so much. They call it the young earth creationist theory, right? I'm like, who knew that was even such a thing, right? Because when I was like full blown Christian, like I believed that. I believed the earth was like 6,000 years without doing a lot of research. Not like I do now, you know? So that's one of the things where you have to learn how to be unbiased based on what you grew up knowing and believing that was 100% true. Even as I transitioned from Christianity into Hebrew roots and was studying it there and following like the Hebrew calendar and Torah and all this stuff and studying the Midrash, going to temple, all these different things, right? In the calendar, they use it's like still the same thing. And then they count down the years. It's like I forget the year, forgive me, because I ain't really been into it like that, like it's correct, because it's like year 6,000 something, I forget. But that's why they believe the earth is still young, right? So with that different matter of fact, I should share some of that with y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna share some of that with y'all, so y'all can look at it just in case you didn't know. Like I've heard some of these things in bits and pieces, but how it all started in the first person, even though the first person that they have on the record that started this theory, it's really not that long ago. It was people before then that believed that, but there were certain reasons why. And then it got into like understanding the world we live in from a religious and theology side of things versus looking at the world we live in from the scientific side of things, and how they both actually can coexist. But it just depends on, I like the way they explained it. It really just depends on, it's crazy, not crazy, but really what they summed it up to say was not that what you believe is true, right? But a lot of times people tend to take on they how can I say this? They believe what they believe is true. They develop biases, and when they don't continue to develop in themselves and doing research and test different theories and test the information that they're getting, even when it comes from trusted professionals, they tend to just take it at face value. They don't even when other information is screaming and shouting like, hey, take a look at me, right? Because if you look at me, you're going to have to put me on the table too. And you're going to have to look at this, right? Like a simple thing, like some of the most ancient civilizations. We ain't even talking about people, right? We have one of the more ancient texts, a text that's literally taking information from it and put it in the Bible, right? Like the ancient Sumerian text, right? The ancient Sumerian texts are at least, and I ain't talking about the people, I'm talking about the text, the thing, the papers, the reports, and all the stuff that they was writing. The text are at least 5,000 years old, and they're going to some of the different ways how they test things and test the earth. So if the papers alone, of which the Bible, the newest religion on the block, has borrowed words, and it will blow your mind if you've ever read some of it, translated versions. It will blow your mind at how some of it almost reads identical. Different passages almost read identical from the ancient Sumerian text, but they hold this infallible and the ultimate word of God. Like how? Sway? How? Right? So if the papers are at least 5,000 years old, you're telling me that the earth developed in 1,000 years, not only developed in 1,000 years, but became habitable for people. And they developed all this time to where they could write out these scholarly texts that are dated at least 5,000 years. Some of these things are not adding up, right? Because there are trees. You can look at some of the more ancient trees and look at the ages of them and test the ages. If we believe the rings in a tree tells the lifespan, the age of a tree, and we have trees that are older and that can survive a long period of time, you're telling me the earth is only 6,000 years old? 6 to 12,000. That's the creationist view. 6,000 to 12,000 years old. A lot of this stuff was blowing my mind. I'm like, So what we're really dealing with is biases and information that you are using that supports your biased view about things. And that's where we get in trouble. That's where we stunt our growth. And that's where I'm going to just repeat it. Stop learning, which is just a reiteration of stunning our growth, right? So listen, okay, so she ain't really crazy. She ain't totally crazy. I'm just asking. I wouldn't call her crazy. I really wouldn't. I would like to see, even though she did respond, it was really respectful. She responded that she hit on some of those topics in some of her videos, and I asked her to send me the video because she got a lot of videos, so I can actually see it, because I'm looking at it and I'm testing it in the light of things that we can prove and we can see and we can test. Some things may be out of our reach at this point to test, but the things we can test, we should test to prove, right? And once we get the results, right, if we've tested it appropriately, now we have a decision to make. That goes against what I currently believe. What am I going to do? Right? And some people be like, well, my matches, this can never be known, stricken it from the record. And I'm like, at that point, you become a dangerous person to deal with, to talk to learn from, which is why I don't care what references y'all give me, put it on the table. If you tell me there is a bit of truth in the Quran, I'm not going to take that at face value, but we're going to put it on the table and we're going to open it, right? But we found out that the same person that wrote the Quran wrote the Holy Bible. Use some of the same characters. They just swap stories in and out. They add some stuff over here. I mean, put it on the table, and we really have to put our big boy, big girl drawers on, panties on, right? And let's really look at this stuff, right? Some things also when it's this little study and some of these resources with this 6,000 year creation, 6,000 year young earth creationist view. They say a lot of this stuff also has to do this theory was molded this way because a lot of the things, even the allegories and the stories and the passages that allude to something else or deeper lesson, they take the allegories as face value as well. Just like in the beginning, the days in there, they take that as a literal 7 days, right? So when they take the Bible, and that's the foundation of that entire young earth creationist view, is because they take the Bible at face value, like these are literal days, 1, 2, 3. And if we just use common sense, reading them first couple chapters of Genesis, based on what we can see and test and prove now, we know that a human can't be born in a day, right? We know this, but for some reason they've taught us to ignore what we see right in front of our face. And if it was a snake, it would have bit you, right? So using common sense. So I wouldn't call it crazy. I wouldn't call any of them crazy, but I just think it's some information that they're lacking or choosing to just completely ignore because they love their belief just a little too much, right? They don't love their belief enough just to look at it and say, what if it is wrong? And that's like a troubling process to go through, because I started thinking, well, what if what I believe is actually wrong, right? This conversation started with me and my sister some years ago, like, what if we're the ones that's wrong? And the people that's been trying to tell us, hey, you might want to look into that. What if they're saying it actually has some merit to it, right? So being a good student, right? Doesn't the New Testament tell you to be a diligent student, right? To test and see if these things that you're being taught, that people are telling you be true. Shouldn't we be like the Bereans, right? And even the most trusted people, shouldn't we test all the words, right? So I'm going to share that with y'all. And some of them resources that I got. This Sean, hey, sis, what's going on, sis? Intuitive Goat. So I'm going to share some of that. And I would like to see y'all input on that. I'm going to put it in the comment section on Facebook and in the community section or whatever y'all got or whatever y'all looking to. Help a sister out. Help us pull this stuff up, right? Because there were some things I was like, holy crap, who would even thought of that? I was like, well, yeah, how do you explain that? That is a long process, right? Everything that's before our eyes, the Creator teaches us that there's a process of development, right? Even the development, not only our physical bodies, but our spiritual bodies, right? I think that's our interruption. 7 o'clock on the dot. If I can't, one thing I can say about my baby sister, she is always prompt. I could take a lesson or two. Hey, y'all up? Yep. Come on, let's go. It took off run. I knew I heard little feet. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna share it with y'all. Look, I said we was gonna finish one chapter. I ain't foresee any stories. Did I even bring my thing down here? That's what I'm okay. But listen, so let's see. Communicator, listen. Common sense ain't that common to a lot of people, right? Because it seems some of these things now seem like no-brainers to me, but a few years ago, I didn't have this type of common sense, right? And common sense is not common to some people because they don't grow up around it. They don't hear it enough. So what they're hearing is not common to them. There's no way that they can relate to it until they've been in the midst around people. And then this becomes common sense. So I'm just saying it tells a lot about certain circles people surround them with as well. Because if all of them are, I ain't gonna say infected in their thinking, or they all have the same type of bias, that's a dangerous study group to be a part of. They got everything? Oh, they didn't bring anything, right? Okay. Love you too. So yeah, that's dangerous, especially if you are the smartest. If you're the smartest person in your group, it's time for you to find another group, because that means nobody's going to challenge you. Or if they do, it might be a long while, and they're going to have some oomph in them to break free out of tyranny and foolishness. All right, baby. I love you. Have fun at school. All right. Y'all say bye to Obs. I mean, y'all gonna see it for a few minutes in school. Okay. All right. Bye. So it's crazy, y'all. The whole false history of the earth, the liars are really the false angels. We're just a sheep. Yeah, it really is. Cosmo and Cal, what's going on, fam? Peace to the righteous gods, goddesses, and Nirvanian gods. Coming into maturity don't happen overnight. It absolutely doesn't, because it's a process, right? Just like the development of the earth. When you call your, well, let me not say that. That might be a little bit disrespectful. I said I was going to work on that. Okay, so I'm gonna just hold my thought. Right, it's a process. Everything develops, just like the earth develops. You can, even if you don't. Okay, so even if you don't believe that the earth can be older than 6,000 or even 12,000 years old, you can test things in the earth now, right? Because you can't really test the whole earth, right? But there are things in the earth, minerals, rocks, formations, fossils, different things. You have to become educated in different different fields, right? You may need to learn a little bit of paleontology, all of these different fields, and it's going to take a little while. It's going to take a little while to be able to put these pieces together. And once you really begin to understand processes and lifespans and timelines, you will quickly find. I say if somebody even studied just for a year's time, be dedicated and study it, move all the biases out the way, and just begin to go in these things, you will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, before you even get started good, that the earth cannot just be, even at the max, it can't be 12,000 years old. This earth is not that young, right? So I put my response together respectfully, just hitting like just 7 points. There are way more than 7, but the 7 obvious ones I put up there. And her response quite shocked me. It really did. But the response was still biased. Like, I've already looked at that. I'm going to share it with you. Just tune in and I'll teach you why it's only 6 to 12,000 years old. I'm like, I'm going to tune in. I'm going to tune in. Even though they charging $30, I'm going to pay $30 to tune in to listen to this, right? But it's interesting, y'all. It's interesting. Fritz, what's going on, fam? Bronze Yogi. Somebody said I should get with you to get some sounds for my Be Right Back screen, right? I'm going to hit you up, fam. Cosmo Cat said it hit different when you understand that creator is common sense. If I had a mic, bruh, right? Listen. Okay. Hi, Ray. Okay, let's get back to this real quick. Okay, it's 7:05, y'all. I'm only on verse 6. Listen, page 201 at the top. Verse 6, even so, O Hapacha, standeth thy record in the higher heavens. And when the Father called me to visit the red star and her heavens, I looked over Jehovah's messengers' reports, where was set thy name, radiant with love and fire. So to thee I made haste and came, unknown, because as yet unproved in these heavens, and thy much worth, and the amity of thy host won my love. I told thee thou shouldest hear from me soon, and so thou hast. Behold, Fragapati is before thee. Hapacha said, blessed, O Jehovah, come thou, O Fragapati, and honor my throne in the name of the Father. And come thou also, O Yatanti, and thou, O Hoab. And they went up and sat on the throne, and Fragapati sat in the midst. Again, they Nars sang and played, and during the singing, the light of the upper kingdoms began to envelop the throne. Then spake Fragapati, explaining, hey, son, hear me, O all ye people, and be ye attentive to my words, because ye have been faithful from the first, ye are become the light of the earth and of this heaven, and inasmuch as ye have maintained your altar in times of sacrifice, and in square brackets after sacrifice, it has worship. There have been maintained in the upper heavens altars and sacrifices in conjunction with you, whereby ye have been blessed in hearing the voice in all the darkness through which the earth and her heavens have passed, as the Father hath given voice betwixt mother and child, though they be distant from each other, so in like manner to Jehovah's kingdoms, which are in sympathy in righteousness and love. Verse 13, as ye behold the light gathering about this throne, think not that I bring the light, nor that it is sent to me in person. There is a cord betwixt me and my Ethereal kingdoms, and I am one end thereof. The other end is the throne in Ethereal. Oh, she wasn't here to get you yet. She was here to get the girls. I thought that's what you was doing. Okay. Well, yeah, she had to get the girls and get them back to the house so they can get ready for school. Then she coming back. Okay. There is a cord betwixt me and my Ethereal kingdoms, and I am one end thereof. The other end is the throne in Ethereal. When I sit in the midst of this throne, behold, it is also illuminated by the higher heavens. Think not that my heavens are the highest of all, for such the all highest can never be attained. Nevertheless, my heavens are connected as with the cord to them above me, and they to others still above, and so on forever, upward. The all highest conceived of is called Jehovah. No matter how long it descended, still the voice is his voice. That's good. Let me highlight this. So it's like this process of growth is perpetual. And every time this process of growth is like Candy Crush. Like, does that ever end? It doesn't ever end. I know some people that is on level 5,423. And listen, this what our creator created is the game of Candy Crush for us to progress through the levels. Right? Listen to what they're saying, right? They said it's not as simple as Candy Crush. Well, some of them levels get quite even though I stopped after level 23, I'm like, I'm wasting my time with this, right? But life is just like that, right? And not just here. Here on earth is just the beginning stages of that, right? It's the beginning stages of that. But that's what makes it so fun. Like it makes it fun. Life is fun once you understand that you're in school and you should be developing along the way, right? Because we're not just growing for the sake of growing. We get to grow and test our growth, right? We get to become creators even here in this life, even before we become fully born spirit. What we do, we get to create lives, and the creator makes it fun for us to do it. And a lot of us, we just be practicing and not really creating nothing. But when we do create a life, we get to go through the whole process of developing this life, this new world that's coming to this bigger world, like all these things. So it's fun along the way, and we get results and rewards, but also we get repercussions if we make wrong decisions, right? So the process, it's quite interesting. And your take on life, even with hard situations, it becomes easier to deal with. Not that the problem is made any easier, but at least you understand that the challenge has been presented to you, no matter what it is, whether it's a challenge in your marriage, in your finances, in your mental, it's there to grow you to another level, right? When frustration set in, that means you've hit what we call in business a bottleneck, right? A bottleneck, because now we have reached a level where you can progress to the next level, and progress in your finances, take on bigger contracts, all these different things. You at a crossroads, and you can choose which way you're going to go. And a lot of people, small businesses, when they get to bottlenecks, right? A good bottleneck is getting more business than you can handle, right? And you start turning jobs away. Mom and pops, if they haven't developed themselves, or if they haven't thought about how are we going to grow past being small, if they haven't already started looking into that and developing a plan and developing themselves and putting things in place for when we do reach that, when we get there, a lot of times when they get there and the frustration start kicking in, and that's a good problem to have, right? Getting too much business that you can't handle. Now you can make a choice. You can choose to turn them away. We're swamped, we're booked, we cannot handle that. Or you can get creative. There's a thing called subcontracting. How about, yes, we can take that, but by this time you should have already vetted your subcontractors on how you're going to still receive this work, even though you're going to pay a big chunk of this profit out to another company or another subcontractor that'll handle the work. You take a cut off the top. You're still being efficient. You're not turning the work away. Your brand, your name is growing, right? And now you move to the next level. This subcontracting thing is giving me a little bit of my time back, right? So all of these things. So when you reach that next level, now you look at different, you run into a whole nother host of problems, which are good problems, and they could be bad if your mindset is wrong about it and your perception of this whole growth cycle. So that makes a world of difference. It's a big, big thing. And not just with business or with marriage, but with spiritual growth as well. When we get new information that challenges what we currently believe, we're at a bottleneck. Will you be the cause of this bottle breaking? A lot of people get their necks snapped, right? Because they choose not to take the top off the bottle, right? If you want to say that, I never really heard that, but I just bottleneck. I don't know. It seemed like it was right to say. You got to release some of that pressure, right? A lot of people take that information, they set it on fire. Nope, can't do that, right? But it's the same thing. So listen, verse 14, think not that my heavens are the highest of all, for such the all highest or the creator can never be attained. Nevertheless, my heavens are connected as with a cord to them above me, and they to others still above, and so on forever, upward and upward, meaning this continual growth. Like the kingdoms don't end. The levels just get higher and better and more intricate and more detailed, and so on and so forth, forever, upward, upward. The all highest conceived of is called Jehovah. No matter how long it descendeth, still the voice is his voice. I think I missed a couple questions. I saw that question. Sorry for my question off topic. Yes, I saw the message actually this morning while I was getting the live set up. How many pages in total are in your big blue? I think it's like 876. Yeah, 876. Some PDF copies have over 1,000 plus pages. You or anyone know what's up with that? Thanks in advance. Yes, you must have missed our John Lant phase of going through a WASPy. Yes, there is a few different versions out there. There are some versions that have some information that other versions don't. That's it in a nutshell, right? So there is this thing out there that the John Lant plates were the original plates. Not to get all into all of that, because I kind of just like put it away, because after going into it a little bit, I felt like it was a distraction for me, and we were starting to look at the wrong things, right? It was a shiny ball, right? So we just dealing with the information in front of us. But those plates, some people say, based on information that they have, that they possibly could have been destroyed. All these different things about what's surrounding the Owaspy and the John Lant plates. And the lowest edition, with their references and footnotes, could actually lengthen it online. But the online version is let me not say that, because I don't know that for sure. I can't pinpoint exactly why. Let me just say that, but I do know, I do know that the pages for, unless you're talking about a PDF version, I just automatically assume you were talking about the version that's on sacred text. Let me see. We ain't gonna get into the Holy Megillah, y'all. Nah, I'm gonna finish this chapter and we're gonna be done. Sacred text. When I read it, I always go, if I'm using the online version, I just always go to the sacred text website, and I'm gonna send that to you. I'm gonna post it here. Y'all probably already got it, but that's the one I go to right there. I'm not sure which one you've been looking at online, but this one right here, if you go there, and you'll see like some records or discs. The first one is Owaspy. The one under that is the Book of Knowledge. The other one is the Origin of Owaspy. It could be whatever version you're looking at is adding some of these things to it, and the page numbers just could be different. I noticed some footnotes in the one online where it says page. They don't line up with the pages in my book. So I'm not really sure how all that is working out. But yeah, so we investigated that issue. Okay, yeah, you're talking about that almost a year ago on this channel. Okay. Tried going through the videos on the channel. It's a bunch of long videos. If you got time. Misha, what's going on, fam? Rising Ground family. It's Misha Mentor. Okay. Okay, Jamia said, compared to the PDF, compare the PDF to the actual book by the same editors. Don't compare the standard verse PDF to the physical Big Blue, right? I agree with that. That might be that's why I asked. I'm like, what version are you looking at online? Yeah, so but yeah, I agree with Jamia. So but do you have a copy of Big Blue? Did you order a copy of it? Because here they let you know all the way in the beginning, and the introduction and the preface and all this stuff. They give editorial notes and how they compiled this. And they actually have a website. I forget their website. Elois, I forget. Don't quote me. But they have a website. And I think it's a little bit more detail about this and how they did it. But all right, y'all, let me finish reading this chapter. I hope that answers your question, communicator. All right, so let's go back. Page 201. It's 24 verses in this chapter. We're going to stop after this, y'all. We're going to cut out. Verse 14. Think not that my heavens are the highest of all, for such the all highest can never be attained. Nevertheless, my heavens are connected as with a cord to them above me, and they to others still above, and so on forever, upward and upward. The all highest conceived of is called Jehovah. That's what I wanted to underline. The all highest conceived of is Jehovah. Like let me not say that. I don't want to get people off. Somebody might misinterpret my words. I guess you can kind of say it's kind of like this theory, right? The young earth creationist theory, like the way I'm looking at our great creator, like everything around it. Okay. So let me say this. Like, and I'm not saying this is 100% true. This is just how I'm looking at things as I'm growing, right? Okay. Just like people, okay. So just like people, I was about to use one, but let me use this one first. Just like some people talk about the devil or Satan, they think Satan is this entity, this one person, right? What you say? Yeah, listen. So they condense, matter of fact, as I'm saying it out my mouth, that's what the Bible does. It takes everything and condenses it down, and they put it in this. Oh, they take it and they condense everything into this physical form, or these idols that you can see, right? Remember what we learned in the beginning of Owaspi on how, as man was growing and developing their spirit, they needed something tangible they could look at. They needed something tangible that they could look at in order to get the concept of what the creator is, right? Yeah, basically making idols, right? Making idols in the New Testament. That's what they do. That's what it does, right? So they take everything and condense it down and make it something you can see, that you can touch, that you can feel, right? And that's like a theory, a way of thinking. But not only is it theory, in some of those places, these idols may actually be actual real people. And in other places, they may actually be allegories and stories just to expand on a point to get you to understand something. And the Bible is full of a little bit of truth, a lot of allegories, where the young creationists have taken all of this, the allegories, the stories, and the bits of truth, and they just put it all in one bucket. They put it all in a truth bucket, right? Without separating what was allegorical, right? Because there's the Bible is just full of allegories. Well, you're part right. What is truth? Well, you're part right too. Well, it was made up. There are some stories that were made up. Like, all of you they're choosing to believe bits and pieces and putting everything else into that bucket of the piece that they choose to believe. And for that, they call that truth, right? So for some people, they think the Bible is nothing but allegories. Okay, well, you're not wrong, right? Some people, it's all truth, unfallible, pure, unadulterated word of God. A lot of adults have adulterated that, right? So think about that. And the concept of a devil or a concept of a Satan, to whereas when you grow a little bit more, we understand that Satan or the devil is kind of like within us all. And Egypt explained it really good. It's like a lower nature, even though it used characters. Set, right? Set, Set was the name of the devil character, or the lower nature. I believe it was Set. Did I get that right? Set, the lower nature. Anyway, the one that represented Satan. But it's the lower nature that's found in every man, the nature, the part of you that hasn't developed and cleared out all the whirling vortexes, or the spirals of energy, or your attitude, your spirit. You have not developed that past physical wants and needs, right? So, but are you wrong when you say that there's a actual physical Satan? It depends on who you're talking to, right? Because you could be Satan in the state that you're at, how you believe and how undeveloped you are. You could be full of Satan, or your lower nature, your fleshly nature has completely taken over you, and you live life as do as thou wilt. Like, you literally throw caution to the wind all the time. You don't think about anybody else. You only think about yourself and how you can feed yourself, and just consume, right? And it makes you worse than what you really want to believe, right? So when I look at the creator, a lot of people think is this big dude sitting on the throne above us. I don't know that I can actually say that is this big dude sitting on the throne above us, but I can tell there is something higher than me. How can I tell? How can I prove that? Right? Well, simply by looking at everything that's here within my reach that I can study. Right? Not just the physical realm, but also the interaction from the unseen realm. And the unseen realm also lets me know that it's not just a creator there, right? So now we have to decipher who's there, how, right? So when I look at the creator, what did this say right here?
I think it's the simple fact that they found a particle that bounces in and out of reality that produces energy without any, so it don't need anything to charge. And
Jeremiah going into the whole scientific
like
aspect of it.
Like literally just energy that's there but not there.
Right. But are they wrong though? Are they, if you have somebody talking about a God particle, right, that they can actually, or they're trying to test, and then you have somebody coming from the religious background thinking that we don't even need to do all that, he just is. Are they wrong for saying that?
Everybody's from a different environment. Everybody has a different outlook on things.
Say that louder. Say that louder. Are they, look, now you thinking about this? He just balled his face up because he got this particular feeling about people who are religious. He said, "Well, come make that face in the camera that you just did when I asked you, are they wrong?" He thought about it for a second. Well, no, technically they're not. They're just looking at it from a different perspective. And even though they gone gun-ho, this is they looking at it from their perspective, and they believe this is the only perspective without looking at the bigger picture, right? So we've shifted from this, he just is, you don't question the Lord. Why? Just pray about everything and he'll handle all your needs and Jesus will take the wheel. So we move from that, which is like a lower level of thinking. And then we move into the area where we actually, well, it is kind of really crazy to blindly believe something, right? When you start getting into that, you don't want to blindly believe things. Like if I'm going to believe something, like we would like to blindly believe things and believe that people don't lie to us, right? Because some people lie to us on purpose and other people lie to us because they've been lied to and they ain't tested the information and they got to see if they've been lied to or not, right? We would like to blindly believe everybody, but we know better as we grow, right? And so that's what we find ourselves at, looking at everything, putting everything on the table. So saying all of that, some people think the creator is just this big dude or big woman, whoever, a couple sitting on the throne, whatever. People got their different outlooks. Why? Because they got part of the pieces of the picture, right? They still trying to put the puzzle together.
And then he says he loves you, but yet he will put you to the stakes and let you have your, let you deal with that yourself by sending you to hell.
But come. Now, say that again. Say that again, son. Say it again.
The part that's ironic to me is when he said he loves you so abundantly. But
who loves you? Go ahead. I'm just I'm asking questions.
The Christian God, it's funny when he says, I love you, but he's willing to, put you in hell for, eternity. It's kind of hypocritical thing to say right there. But I mean, okay, that's cool.
Okay, so with that, now people who've developed a little bit and read more information and they come across books like the WASP that actually answers those questions, and they look at different things and they can kind of test and prove some things and teach people who are at that level, that what you just said, that hey, that's not even really God or who you're thinking is the great creator. That is actually one of your shenaniganizing brothers and sisters who have been fully born spirit and know how to manipulate some things, right? So what would you say about that? So do you still look at them like, y'all are idiots, right? But listen, now that you've grown and you know a little bit more and you know what's happening to them and why they believe the way they believe, because they're lacking information, that somebody playing Jedi mind tricks on them, can you still really be mad at them because they lack information? Or do you begin to deal with this in a different way? and how you relate to them. I'm asking you, what would you do, right?
I tend to leave them alone because they tend to be very headstrong until like something happens and they come back and be like, "You're right."
True, but isn't Bella like that as well? Or Josh and Saya and Isaiah when they believe something?
That's understandable. They're children.
But isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, same concept.
Same concept, right? It's the same thing. Younger children, they just headstrong and stuff, and they determined they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You can see a little bit more, probably a lot more than what they can, and understand and put things together better than they can at their age because they haven't developed those thinking faculties and critical thinking skills like you have, right? Isn't that also true of those who are bottlenecked by religion or stuck in Christianity or Islam? Isn't that the same exact thing? Thoughts, real thoughts.
I just don't agree with religion in general. I just don't understand it. Like, I don't get why we gotta praise a magical man in the sky when
you don't.
When it's shown,
you don't. But look, don't when Bella, you see Bella how she be all over, Mommy, I just love you so much, and giving me hugs and kisses. And aren't the Christians doing the same thing? Now, do you do that? Even though, and everybody, you come here every day before you leave out here, go to work. Hey, Mom, love you. Have a great day. Or don't you do that? It's not all like, Mom, I just love you so much. Like it immobilizes you from getting out there to go get your work. I'm like, boy, if you don't get up off me and go to work, I love you. Right? The Christians are doing that. It's just like babies, right? They're still in that clinging phase. But as you begin to grow and develop, Mom, I love you. I see you when I get home from work, right? And you go out there and you handle business because you can't. What if you sat around and just hugged me all day?
That would be weird.
It would be nice though, wouldn't it? But your bills wouldn't get paid. You got bills now. Who gonna pay them bills? Like all of these things, right? It's just a simple example, right? It's a simple example. But what I choose to believe, back to my original thing, right? Some people would choose to believe that there's this big man sitting on the throne, right? I don't necessarily believe that. I do believe that you're constantly not just trying to attain. It's like this game. You ever play hide and seek with your parent, right? It's like when you're playing hide and seek with younger children, you don't like go full balls to the wall, like, and they'll never find you. They're like, what's the point in playing this game, right? A lot of times, even playing games with them, you let them beat you as they're developing. So it's not like the creator is this great entity that can never be attained to, even though in words we say that, but it's a part of the growth process, because if the creator never checked in with us from time to time or just said a few words or whatever, we'd be like, what is even the point of growth? It's like this game of hide and seek that he's constantly warning. I got so many things to show you, like come this way, and go hide behind a tree while you walk into this new level of Candy Crush, like, oh, wow, we can actually do this. Like it's a lot of different developing your faculties in every area. Go wash your face now. So when I look at the creator, it's not that I'm looking for this single entity. I see the creator. I've learned how, and I've developed to understand that I can see and I can hear the creator in all things. Even when I talk to my children, or I walk outside the door and I look at the trees and I smell the fresh air and I just observe the movements of the clouds in the sky, not the clouds that the government is creating. We ain't getting into the conspiracy theory things, right? But y'all get what I'm saying, right? Thank you, Fritz. Maturation, continual growth, and expansion, right? Tabitha said, as we mature, life becomes more simple. It does, and what we do, yes, son.
You said the body yet?
No, I didn't. Give me a few. Listen, and what we find out, like sometimes as we grow, bless you, we tend to come back. We tend to like go full circle, right? when we're understanding the idols and everything, we completely put them away. Then it's like, well, maybe they were useful and we still can use them now. Not that you bring them, but this time when you bring them up and you're using the same thing, and people even may call you hypocritical when you begin to do it. But it's not that you're being hypocritical. You just understand it from a higher level and why it is useful in some situations, not in all situations, but it's useful for a good teacher to use idols. What is another word for idols? Simply props or examples to help you better understand a principle that you can't quite see yet, right? But once you understand it, you no longer need the props, which is at the point in time when the idols are done away with, right? We can see that process with children walking. I talked about that before. As they're learning, they're crawling with the support of things, as they're standing up, holding on to things, holding on to people, helping them. But as they get the hang of it, the more they practice, the more they operate that faculty of themselves, they no longer need the props. They put them away. All right, son, I love you too. Have the most amazing day, as Auntie Tab would say. Have the most amazing day. All right, son. So I've come back full circle to idols. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're worshiping false gods and all of these things. But I'm looking at it from a different perspective, from a higher perspective. On first of all, how did these even come into play? Why were they needed? Why are they useful? And a lot of times I understand spiritual things really good by just looking at my life. And that's how the Creator has created all things. If you want to understand spiritual principles, simply look at your life. All that we need to know and understand, we already have with us, right? In front of us, examples galore, right? You have to take the top off the bottle, release some of that pressure so you can think. Think, Leroy. Think, right? Think about The Last Dragon. Bruce Leroy was looking for the master, right? The dojo teacher, the master, he at this level, he said, some dumb boy. Like he needed something like, master, give me something. You say you ain't my teacher. Who my next teacher? Who my next teacher? Who my next teacher? Sensei, master, Leroy. All right. You give him a big belt buckle. Huh? Here's a clue to where you're gonna find the master. Like at that point, even your greatest teacher gets frustrated with you because you're not seeing that you are the master. You need something? Oh, let me give you an idol. Okay, here. Go look for the master over here. Then, because you are still looking outward at everything, now you have grown to the level where you should be getting your sustenance and teaching from inward. Now, you become bottlenecked and you begin to stunt your growth on this level. Because at this level, all that you learn and to be able to develop even higher, you can no longer get from outside of you. Everything now is found from the teacher and the master within. And when you get to this level, college level, you don't have all the, hey, did you do your homework? Nope. We don't say a word, right? Because you should know at this level what you should be doing. And if you don't know, and if you're not getting the answer from your outside teacher, your critical thinking skills and all the skills that you have learned throughout these courses and these phases and these ages and these seasons, you should begin to assess the situation and figure it out, right? And that's the level that a lot of people don't even make it to spiritually. They're fighting the bottom. Like, put my top back on. I like the pressure. But that pressure gonna cause you to pop, and it ain't gonna be pretty, right? It ain't gonna be pretty. Me, you, your mama, and Jehovah too. Listen, y'all, this I'm so over my time. Hold on, I think I missed a question. Oh, okay. All right, y'all. I still didn't finish reading this chapter. In a spaceship on Vogues. Look, y'all. Listen. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's 7:40. Y'all just as bad as me. Y'all ain't got to go to work today. Listen, hold on. Verse 14. Let me finish reading these verses, y'all. Listen, we got to get out of here. Y'all should let me know, like, Pam, the time. This is not the weekend. Listen. Page 201, verse 14. Think not that my heavens are the highest of all, for such the all highest can never be attained. Nevertheless, my heavens are connected as with a cord to them above me, and they go to others still above, and so on and so forth, upward. The all highest conceived of is called Jehovah. So if you need somebody that you need to, the conception of it, call them Jehovah. I call them the Most High, the Most Holy, whatever. Some people still call them Yahweh, Yahuwah, whatever. You need something to conceive of. You need something that you can hold here physically. Give it a name, right? Go ahead. Give it a name. The all highest conceived of is called Jehovah. No matter how long it descendeth, still the voice is his voice. That ye may hear Jehovah's voice, I will now set my son above the throne. Sun, S-U-N. Fragapati ceased, and the light, most brilliant in the figure of the sun, settled above his head back of the throne. Many could not look upon it because of its brightness. Presently, Jehovah spake out of the light, saying, Rejoice, O Hapacha, in the name of thy Creator. Sing thy songs of delight, and let thy people hold up their heads. Behold, I have watched over thee and thy host. In my promises have ye fulfilled the dawn of my light. 3,000 years are as one day in my sight. Yesterday I said, Sit ye here, stand ye there, for tomorrow I come again. And this was my commandment for thousands and 10,000s of years. But others remember me not. In the night they went down as a child that falleth asleep. And when I came on the morrow, behold, they had not awakened, but I roused them up and showed them my great light. Again I said to them, 3,000 years are as one day in my sight. Sit ye here, stand ye there, and remember me. Tomorrow I come again. But lo, they went down in sleep. They remembered not me, their Creator. But thou, O Hapacha, has maintained the watch all night long. Thou art the first of gods who have kept this kingdom whole, WHOLE, whole from dawn to dawn. Thou art the first of gods who hath kept my kingdom safe in the lower heavens till the morrow came. Now have I come to thee to deliver thee and thy kingdom to Harati, whether thou shalt tarry till the close of dawn, when my sons and daughters shall bear thee upward to my emancipated worlds, and thy host shall go with thee. The voice ceased. Then spake Fragapati, saying, For 3 days will I tarry here. 2 days shalt thou have of recreation, but on the third day thou shalt appoint thy successor, and I will then again speak before thee and thy people. Hapacha then proclaimed 2 days of recreation, and the hosts mingled freely together. Those of the Avalanches are coming out and rejoicing with the Ipsogeans, and great was the glory of those 2 days. And that is the end of that chapter. This was really good. Like, I didn't really get all that from the first time I read through this. That's why I'm like, if you're gonna read something, read it at least twice all the way through, right? So you can get some of that stuff that you didn't get the first time reading through it. All right, y'all, that's it for today. Chapter 23. We started on page 200. All right, beautiful people, that's it for today. So it look like we ain't gonna get back to the whole Megillah until next week. And if we start with Waspy, and it's good in stories, and I start talking, we might not get to it, right? But we'll get back to it soon. All right, with that being said, beautiful people, thank y'all for hanging out. Did y'all know today was Peace Day? I didn't know that. I just looked at my book. Days got names or whatever, but today is Peace Day. It is Thursday, September the 21st, 2023, day 107 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets, and of the 5-year consecutive day count. It is day 1487. We read only chapter 23 today, which began on page 200 And we ended on page 203 in OWASP in the book of Fragapati. So with that being said, I also, since I let y'all give a word of adoration for the Creator coming in, my mom gave it. Give us one going out today. I'm going to let y'all do it all today. 9:40 p.m. on your end. Oh, man, your day is ending. Ours is just getting started. Zion within. Thanks, Nazarene, to sing. You're welcome, BC. I'm waiting. Give me some words of adoration for the master teacher. Not the master, well, I ain't gonna say not the master teacher within, because the master teacher can be found within. Matter of fact, in order to really get on the right road of finding the master, you have to get to graduate level studies and learn how to go within. Like you have to completely, you ain't got to be completely a king or queen of 7 yet, but the road as you're getting closer, it leads you to those hidden paths to the Creator, to where when you get on the right road, it's like a direct connection, information flowing in and out to the great Creator. And even though you may not be able to see the physical formation of the Creator, you can hear it, you can feel it, and you can see it in everything around you. You can see it manifest when you tap into that. Thank you. I love that. Timeless. That's the Creator. Hold on. I was doing spirit fingers. Bella cheerleading. The boys in football, the girls. Well, I said the girls because Aubrey been here or whatever, but Bella's cheerleading. She in cheerleading and dance. So when I thought about that, instead of doing a mic drop, I'm do spirit fingers. I hated cheerleading growing up, but Bella is the girliest girl. So sis teaching me a thing or two. Creator is, I think that cut off. Okay. It was Tabitha. She finished it. Timeless. That's the Creator. I like that. We are all young grasshoppers. Yes. Thank you, Father, for people who want to continue to grow and learn truth. Yes and amen. All right, beautiful people. That's it. But we're about to get out of here. I ain't going to see y'all for 3 days. We're taking 3 days recreation. Why? Because this moon cycle, the Sabbath here on this side of the earth, the new moon was sighted Friday. So now we are taking the Sabbath off on this Friday, even though my whole outlook on the Sabbath has developed and changed. We ain't gonna talk about that now, but even that, so whereas before it's like, oh my gosh, don't you go out on the Sabbath, you might just die. I've grown. I ain't gonna say so much, but as I develop and I've calmed down a little bit and realized, wait a minute, this is a growth process. What should I be understanding about this? My whole following everything, be ready to crack the whip on everybody else if they're not following it. I realized, wait a minute, hold up. It's this, the idols we can see, the things we can do to kind of rein us in until we really understand the higher principle of what is being conveyed to us, right? Because for real, when you tap into the Creator, when you go within, you realize that it's almost a never-ending Sabbath. What's crazy is, even the New Testament mentions it a little bit, there is this eternal rest that we can enter into, where it's an eternal rest. Not you didn't kick the bucket, not that eternal rest, but it's this constant rest and this constant peace where everything is calm, but everything is still moving and active, but it's moving along to this certain type of tune, this cadence of music. It's like this, it's a flow to a peaceful Sabbath, like rivers that can be still, but yet they're still alive and moving. That's the best way I can explain that at this moment, right? So it's like We come full circle. What I was talking about before, we come back full circle to where we talk about idols. Now we come back from a higher understanding of idols, and we start with the Sabbath. Stay still. No cooking. Don't even rip the toilet paper on the Sabbath to wipe your butt, right? We get a higher understanding of the Sabbath, and we realize that it's not about just keeping still, right? It's more so about learning how to still the movement on the inside of you so you can hear at a higher level and operate from a higher level. I'm just like, oh, yo, we coming full circle. Who's the master? Bruce Leroy, that's who. All right, y'all, I love y'all. Listen, look, hold up. A vibrating harmony. When you understand what is legalistic and what is not, you encounter peace. Oh, gosh. You encounter peace that you never knew. That is so true. And when you experience it, it's so amazing. And I'm just tapping into it just a little bit. Like, I ain't even really got into the door. It's like, oh, wait a minute, what? It's just a little bit. Just give me a little bit a scent or whiff, just a little bit of taste. Just let me just taste a little bit. That's where I'm at. But once I get that door open, I'm kicking it down, right? I'm kicking it down. Kiss my Converse. I love that movie. I know it almost word for word. Whoever, girl, listen, look, I will be here. Y'all, it's almost 8 o'clock. We got to get out of here, but that's true. Whoever does not rip tissue or toilet paper on the Sabbath are in fear. Listen, they pre-ripped the toilet paper, Jamil. They pre-ripped the toilet paper because that's considered work. Well, for some people, that might be considered work, wiping your tail. But I'm just saying, at what point does caring for our natural self violate a Sabbath rule? And if you're taught that, we got some bigger issues. We got some bigger issues that we need to deal with. Because the first issue that is a blaring red flag to me is you might be a part of a cult. Y'all, we got to get out of here. I love y'all. Cosmo and Cal and all the wonderful brothers and sisters. I love y'all. Have fun this weekend. Get some rest. Learn how to enter the rest and the peace, the river within. That's it. I ain't got nothing else. I love y'all. See y'all back here Monday, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bruce.
But I see through you.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gold. I've been far away. I'm illuminated now.
What did you just do to me?
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
It's just tea. With a little honey.
What just happened?
For a moment, you entered the astral dimension.
What?
A place where the soul exists apart from the body.
Why are you doing this to me?
To show you just how much you don't know. Open your eyes.
Been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cosign.
What's happening? This isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real, this is...
Dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cosign.
His heart rate is getting dangerously high.
He looks all right to me. You think that this material universe is all there is?
I don't need gravity, I need
What mysteries lie beyond the reach of your senses? Existence. Mind and matter meet. Thoughts shape reality.
I don't need gravity, I just need Spreading out the spotlight, yeah, I'm a mislead of this illusion. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Some benevolent and life-giving, filled with malice and hunger. Dark places where powers older than time and waiting.
I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Who are you in this vast multiverse?
I don't need gravity, I just need I don't need gravity, I just need growth.
Have you seen that before in a gift shop?
I don't need gravity, I just need growth.
Teach me.
No.
It's an earthquake rumble. I won't ever ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.